Welcome to an on-demand training on understanding summary page results with AgVeritas. In our last on-demand training video, we saw how to initiate an analysis in AgVeritas. Once your analysis is complete, it's time to review your results. So I'm going to take just a moment here to discuss understanding the first page of those results, the summary page. So here I am at the summary page, and this page gives you an overview of your yield, the variability of yield on the field, and then the factors that you included in the analysis and the impact that those are having on your yield. So starting at the top of the page here, it looks like the average yield was about 180 bushels an acre for this harvest, with about 137 bushels an acre of yield variability, which you can see in the histogram on the right here, where each one of these bars shows you the number of yield points that fell in that bushel per acre range. So you can see that we're looking at each individual yield point in the analysis. Moving down the page, the next thing you see is the explanatory power, this 52%. And what that explanatory power means is that based on the factors that were included in the analysis, we are explaining about 52% of that 137 bushels an acre of yield variability, or a little over 71 bushels an acre of yield variability is explained by this analysis. Now, typical explanatory power values are in the 40 to 60% range, so this is a pretty average analysis in terms of explanatory power. So the next portion of the summary page is the explanatory power chart. And this chart shows you the factors that were included in your analysis, and the bar to the right of them shows the relative explanatory power of each one, or how much yield variability is explained by each factor relative to each other. So you can see that the spatial effect areas we identified, as well as the variable rate seeding application, are explaining a large portion of the explanatory power of this analysis. But even though the length of the bars next to phosphorus and magnesium, representing their soil sample levels, are quite smaller, any factor that's included in the analysis at all has some relationship to the yield, or would have been kicked out of the analysis like we see down here. Now, a factor can be kicked out of the analysis for two reasons. The first cause is if a factor has little or no relationship to the yield variability. Like in this example, the potassium levels in the field may have been relatively uniform, so they did not contribute to variation in yield. The second reason a factor can get kicked out is if another factor included in the analysis explains all of the variability explained by the factor that got kicked out. In this example, it may be that the soil types are related to the variation in yield, but since the soil types and CEC can be highly related, the CEC values did a better job of explaining that soil variability than the soil types, and that may explain why they got kicked out here. And so this explanatory power chart can be a great way to help you prioritize management decisions by identifying limiting factors and seeing what really mattered the most on this field. Thank you for viewing this brief tutorial on understanding summary page results with AgVeritas. As always, we hope you found this on-demand training helpful, and if you have any questions or feedback, please don't hesitate to give us a call.